Welcome to part 8 of this series about project risk, and in this video I'm going to talk about contingencies and triggers in project risks. Contingency, a contingency response to a risk is basically this is used when we have risks that have high uncertainty. In other words, that I really don't know if they will happen or not. And therefore, what I need to do is, step one is I follow my accept strategy, all right? I take no immediate action. Step two is I prepare what we call a plan B. We prepare this alternative plan using one of the other risk responses. For example, explore. What happens if I explored this opportunity? And then what I do is I try to establish a trigger. What must happen, or what is the indicator that must go green, let's say, that indicates when the second step should activate it. In other words, what would need to happen for me to go into plan B and take advantage of the opportunity or respond to that risk. So risk triggers are basically, they're part of risk planning, and a trigger indicates the need to implement a change. So it's like an indicator that says it will happen. Let's imagine one trigger could say, I will join a gym if I ever reach, for example, 100 kilos, which I already did. But this is a trigger. The 100 kilo mark is the trigger that will activate a response. Or, for example, when we say, oh, I'm going to go back to work in 30 minutes. Now, that's also a trigger. In this case, it's a time trigger. So risk triggers should be appropriate for the type of risk that we have. They should be timely to allow implementation of the plan. If you activate the trigger at a point that is too late, then it might be an issue, because then it's going to be too late. Then we're going to have, for example, discrete. Triggers should be discrete. In other words, they should be very clear about what is the trigger, and they should not be ambiguous. And finally, triggers need to be documented so that everyone knows what the trigger is for each one of the risks. So triggers are a great tool to help us identify when we need to start taking action in order to counter a risk. Triggers work for both positive and negative risks, and they are important to define in order to know when our actions must start. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions on the comment section below, and in the meantime, I'll see you on the next and final video of this mini series.